Well, hello everyone and welcome to Vlogmas Day 6. I'm Deb and this is DB Designs and Sewing Australia. I don't have much for you. I've made the toile in the Vogue dress just for the bodice. So far, I've got a few little adjustments to do up here where I've got to take it in. I ended up making the straight size 16 with the C cup, and it seems to be fitting pretty well for the moment. So I'll continue on with that toile because I want to make it perfect before I cut it out in my beautiful fabric. But I did have a lady ask me about the Thermomix cover. Now, last Christmas I think I made 4 of these. 3 of my sisters have got Thermomixes and my niece has got one. And this pattern is actually for the TM31 and the TM5. Now, Roberta, the lady that asked me about it, must have seen that my sisters had the TM6 and what adjustments did I do to the pattern, because it's actually quite a good pattern to make it fit the TM6 Thermomix cover. And so I've looked up all my notes, and the Thermomix cover for the TM6 has 1 inch added on every lower edge. And I can see where I've added 1 inch on that edge, and I've added 1 inch on each of the ends, because it's actually this huge long piece like that, which creates the cover like that. A Thermomix is actually quite a big machine. Creates it like that. Then you've got the end pieces. I've added 1 inch on there. And then it's got a pocket. Now, the other thing I did with the pocket is this is placed on the fold. So the pockets are actually that wide. And there's a pocket at both ends. The pockets go, this is also placed on the fold. The pockets go on the end like that, and the only thing I did was I made a stitch line for, she called it the paddle attachment. So there's obviously some sort of paddle attachment. I don't have a Thermomix. There's obviously a paddle attachment, and I measured my sister's machine, and the paddle has actually got like a disc on the top of it. So it's a long straight paddle, probably with like a little beater thing. Oh no, it's not a beater, it's like a scraper actually. But it's got like a round cap top that must clip into, I guess it clips into where the hole in the lid is. And she wanted a seam down one of her pockets so her paddle attachment would fit in it with the disc part as well. So this is for Roberta, and I've got the paddle attachment at 3.5 inches. So on one end of the pocket, so only one pocket because there's a pocket on both ends. This is the end piece placed on the fold. This is the pocket placed on the fold, and a seam goes all the way down to the bottom so that you can put your paddle attachment in it. Now, I believe the pocket on the other side, which is as wide as the end is, fits the book in it. So I think you sort of use a computerized thing in Thermomixes. Don't quote me, I don't have one. Apparently you can make everything in it, but I said, well, you can just as easily make bread by hand. You don't need a machine. But they've all got machines. So for Roberta, the alteration you make for the TM6 is you add 1 inch to the length on every edge. So this is the side, so 1 inch to the side. So just add 1 inch onto your pattern. And for your long piece, that I don't think you get a pattern piece for, because I haven't got it. It probably just gives you the measurements to make. It's an inch extra on each edge. So I had already obviously made up this pattern when I tested it on my sister Sue's Thermomix, and I've added an inch onto each edge of the card. So I'll try and insert a photo of the Thermomix covers, but they fit the machines perfectly. So you also need to cut that extra inch onto the wadding because it's got wadding inside it. Now for a few of them, for Helen and Jenny's, I used adhesive wadding. So I actually ironed the wadding onto the actual outside piece of fabric, so onto the outside fabric because it's fully lined, and that worked really well. And on my sister Sue's, she has got insul fleece lining in hers because her splashback is actually a big window and the morning sun comes in it, and she wanted the heat to reflect off it. So I insulated hers with the insul fleece. So that's like the silver fleece that you use in the oven mitts and the like. So that's for Roberta. 1 inch extra on each edge because they all wanted the actual edge of it to come all the way down to the bench. So you can see in the picture, this is just slight, well, that's got a reflection, so it has to be slightly off the bench to have a reflection, but theirs actually sits on the bench and it's not hollow at the top. So for the TM6, you add an extra inch onto it. I don't know that there's a sewing pattern. This sewing pattern is by Pattern Emporium, but I'd suggest it's a few years old because it says both the TM1 and the new model TM5. Well, this was last Christmas I made those other ones for my sisters, and it is the TM6. So that was the newest model at the time that they had. So Roberta, 1 inch on each lower edge is what I've got written in my book. And I just made some contrasting bias tape. And so I basically made the bias tape, and it was quite wide bias tape too, but the bias tape wrapped right up. So it hasn't got anything hollow on the bottom. It actually is, you know, touching the bottom part of the fully lined pieces. So from memory, you stitch the pocket to the end. You can see a pocket there. Don't know if it's got, yes. So there's a picture of the pocket there, and that's the book that fits into the pocket. Well, the pocket at the other end is the one I've got the seam in so that the paddle attachment can sit in it. So if you want that paddle attachment, so we can already see that the TM31 is shorter, the TM5 is longer, and the TM6 is actually longer again. So I suggest it must be a slightly taller machine. So that's really all I've got for you today. I will message you, Roberta, to tell you that I have talked about it on here, shown my pattern pieces, and because it's something that I've made a few of, I actually made it out of card, just like I do for my aprons. My aprons, I have all the different sizes in cards. It's easier for me to lay it out on the table and just quickly rotary cut around it. And because I made a fair few of these, plus you cut the fleece out in all the pieces except for the pocket, it's why I made it out of card. So I've been enjoying watching everyone's Vlogmas day 6, and I guess it's day 6 everywhere around the world now because it's the middle of the night here just about. And yes, I will talk to you all tomorrow when I'll have another gift to open from my Daily Society Advent calendar. Everybody have a wonderful night, and I'll talk to you all then. Hopefully I can find a photo of the Thermomix covers to put in. Talk to you all. Bye.